Who are you really? Beyond your name, beyond your job title, beyond the roles you play or the identities you've adopted to survive or succeed, who exists at your very core? It's a question that's haunted humanity for millennia, a question you've asked yourself more times than you can count. But every time you've tried to answer, something holds you back, a hidden force, a dark whisper, an internal resistance you can't quite name. Carl Jung had a name for this force. He called it the shadow self. And understanding the shadow isn't just an intellectual exercise. It's a profoundly personal, deeply emotional journey toward discovering who you truly are, beneath the masks, beneath the conditioning, beneath the endless performance society has convinced you is necessary to belong. The shadow self isn't just about darkness, fear, or hidden impulses, though it contains all these things. It's deeper, more profound than you've ever imagined. The shadow is the repository of everything you've denied, suppressed, or disowned in yourself to gain acceptance, approval, or love. It's every part of yourself that felt too vulnerable, too raw, too dangerous to share openly. As a child, you quickly learned what was acceptable and what wasn't. Perhaps expressing anger was labeled disrespectful, sadness called weakness, desire branded as selfishness. Maybe you were shamed for speaking up, ridiculed for being creative, or punished for being authentically yourself. Every time this happened, you internalized a message. Certain parts of yourself were unworthy, unacceptable, or dangerous. Those parts didn't vanish. They sank deep into your unconscious, becoming your shadow. But why does this matter? Because what you've hidden hasn't disappeared. It's shaping your life, quietly but powerfully, beneath the surface of your awareness. The shadow influences your relationships, drives your decisions, and shapes your reactions. Every self-sabotaging habit, every painful cycle you find yourself repeating, every time you say, "I don't know why I keep doing this," is your shadow whispering, begging you to finally look within. Carl Jung famously said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." And your shadow is precisely this unconscious force, directing your life, silently sabotaging your happiness, subtly undermining your relationships and success. It keeps you repeating the same painful patterns again and again, not because you're flawed, but because you're unaware. The shadow isn't evil or malevolent. It's simply misunderstood and unacknowledged. It holds everything you've forgotten about yourself, your boundaries, your passions, your creativity, your authenticity. It holds your deepest truths, your truest desires, your most authentic self, the self you've hidden away in exchange for love, acceptance, or approval. Think about your anger. Society often teaches you anger is destructive, inappropriate, something you must suppress at all costs. So you hide it, numb it, deny it. But anger doesn't vanish. It festers, erupting as passive aggression, resentment, or sudden explosions that damage relationships. Yet anger consciously integrated becomes boundaries, clarity, self-respect. It becomes the courageous voice that says, "This isn't okay. I deserve better." Think about your sadness. How often have you swallowed tears, put on a brave face, pretended to be okay when your heart was breaking? Society rewards strength, stoicism, emotional suppression. But sadness suppressed doesn't vanish. It becomes depression, numbness, isolation. Sadness, fully embraced and expressed, is profound healing, compassion, emotional connection. It's the gentle reminder of your humanity, your empathy, your capacity for deep love and genuine intimacy. Think about your desires, the deep longings you've labeled as selfish, impractical, or impossible. Those desires haven't disappeared. They've turned into envy, bitterness, emptiness. Yet desires reclaimed become purpose, passion, direction. They become your truest compass, guiding you toward a life that feels authentic and genuinely fulfilling. Every part of your shadow you reclaim transforms your life profoundly. Integration returns the energy you've spent suppressing yourself. It liberates you from unconscious compulsions, painful cycles, and exhausting performances. It returns you to your authenticity, your wholeness, your power. But facing your shadow isn't easy. It demands courage, not the superficial bravery praised by society, but deep, raw courage. Courage to confront truths you've avoided, courage to feel emotions you've suppressed, courage to reclaim the parts of yourself you've abandoned. Shadow work isn't a comfortable journey, but it's profoundly meaningful. It's the path back home, to yourself. The first step is awareness. You begin noticing your triggers, the intense emotional reactions that seem disproportionate to the situation. You ask, what is this revealing to me? What part of myself am I refusing to see? You stop blaming others for your emotional reactions and start reclaiming responsibility, not in guilt but in clarity. Next, you honor your dreams. Jung knew dreams were direct channels to your unconscious, messages from your shadow speaking clearly through symbols and emotions. You record your dreams, reflect deeply on their symbols, notice their emotional intensity. Dreams aren't random. They're powerful guides revealing exactly what you must reclaim to become whole. You start trusting your intuition. Society often dismisses intuition as irrational, but intuition is the shadow's wisdom speaking clearly. Your gut feelings, subtle hesitations, inexplicable certainty, these aren't accidents. They're your deepest wisdom guiding you toward authenticity, alignment, wholeness. The more you trust intuition, the more clearly it guides you, and you honor your emotions fully. Instead of suppressing or numbing them, you feel them fully, compassionately, clearly. Emotions aren't flaws or weaknesses, they're sacred signals from your psyche. Anger reveals boundaries. Sadness shows what matters. Envy clarifies desires. Every emotion, consciously felt, reveals profound wisdom and deeper integration. As you reclaim your shadow consciously, you begin living authentically. Relationships transform dramatically because you communicate honestly, set boundaries clearly, and stop projecting your unconscious wounds onto others. Your creativity flourishes because you express your truth fully, passionately, authentically. Your physical health improves as tension and suppressed emotions release. You experience deeper joy, clarity, and purpose, not by eliminating darkness, but by integrating it fully. This journey isn't easy, but it's profoundly transformative. Jung knew intimately that facing the shadow was humanity's greatest challenge and greatest opportunity. The shadow isn't here to sabotage you, it's here to heal you. It isn't your enemy, it's your greatest teacher. It doesn't weaken you, it makes you profoundly, powerfully whole. And who are you really? You're not just your persona or your public self. You're not just your achievements, your roles, your successes. You're deeper than this, more complex, more profound. You're your light and your darkness. You're your courage and your fear. You're your vulnerability and your strength. You're your shadow and your authentic self. This is who you really are. Not fragmented but whole. Not flawless but authentic. Not perfect but deeply human. And the shadow has been patiently waiting, your entire life, to finally reveal this profound truth to you. You've been taught your whole life to strive for perfection, to reach for the light, to chase ideals of goodness, strength, and purity. Society paints the picture clearly. There's a right way to live, to behave, to exist. And everything else? Well, that's hidden away, rejected, ignored, consigned to the dark corners of your psyche. This hidden space is the home of your shadow self, waiting quietly, patiently, and powerfully for your return. But the truth, the deep, hidden truth that Carl Jung unveiled, is that perfection is not the goal. In fact, perfection doesn't exist, not in human form, not in reality. The obsession with perfection only breeds suffering, anxiety, and perpetual dissatisfaction. Because perfection requires you to exile parts of yourself, hiding what's uncomfortable, shameful, or misunderstood. Yet what you exile doesn't vanish, it sinks into your shadow. And from there, it quietly shapes your entire life, influencing your choices, your relationships, your destiny. This hidden truth isn't here to punish you. It's here to liberate you, if only you dare to face it. When Jung spoke of the shadow, he wasn't describing evil. He was describing everything within you that feels too vulnerable, too intense, too real to express openly. Your hidden fears, your secret desires, your forbidden impulses, your raw authenticity. This is what society conditions you to bury. But Jung saw something else, something powerful beneath this suppression. He saw your wholeness. He saw your authenticity. He saw your genuine self. Facing your shadow is deeply uncomfortable. It forces you to question everything you believed about yourself. It strips away your masks, your defenses, your carefully crafted identity, leaving you vulnerable and raw. But this rawness isn't weakness. It's the birthplace of true strength, true authenticity, true healing. Ask yourself honestly, what are the parts of yourself you've disowned to gain approval? Perhaps you learned early to hide your anger, to bury your sadness, to deny your desires. Maybe you learned to silence your voice, to pretend contentment when you felt empty, to project strength when you felt broken. Every time you hid your truth to maintain acceptance, you sent that truth deeper into your unconscious. But what you buried still lives within you, waiting for acknowledgement. Your suppressed anger surfaces as passive aggression, resentment, bitterness. Your hidden sadness manifests as chronic dissatisfaction, numbness, or depression. Your denied desires transform into envy, emptiness, or self-sabotage. Your unspoken truths return as compulsive people-pleasing, boundary violations, and self-abandonment. But here's the profound, transformative paradox Jung revealed. Everything you've buried holds exactly what you need to reclaim your authenticity. The anger you buried holds the boundaries you never set. The sadness you denied holds the compassion you refused yourself. The desires you rejected hold your authentic purpose, your true passions. Your suppressed truths hold your genuine voice, your deepest strength. Shadow integration is about reclaiming these exiled parts of yourself. It's about welcoming them home, honoring their wisdom, and finally listening deeply to what they've been trying to tell you for years. It's not an easy journey. It demands profound courage, unwavering honesty, radical self-compassion. But the rewards are life-changing. When you integrate your shadow, you reclaim your energy. All the effort you once used to suppress your truth returns to you, transformed into clarity, creativity, and authentic expression. You stop performing for external validation because you've finally validated yourself internally. You stop living in perpetual exhaustion because you've released the tension of constantly hiding who you truly are. Your relationships transform dramatically. You no longer tolerate connections built on false harmony, hidden resentment, or silent suffering. You become clear in your boundaries, not to push others away, but to honor yourself deeply. You communicate with raw honesty and vulnerability, not because it's comfortable, but because it's the only way to genuine intimacy. Your creativity explodes, not from pressure or insecurity, but from genuine self-expression. Art, ideas, innovations emerge naturally when you stop censoring yourself, stop hiding your raw humanity. You create boldly, courageously, unapologetically, not for external applause, but from your authentic soul. And your relationship with life itself changes profoundly. Challenges become opportunities, setbacks become wisdom, struggles become growth. You stop fearing discomfort because you trust your capacity to face it. You no longer live from a place of unconscious fear. You live consciously, intentionally, courageously. Jung knew the shadow contained humanity's greatest potential. He knew that suppressing darkness only amplified its influence. He knew that integrating the shadow healed not just individuals, but the collective, breaking cycles of trauma, oppression, and unconsciousness that ripple outward through generations. Shadow work isn't just personal, it's profoundly collective. When you reclaim your authenticity, you inspire others to reclaim theirs. When you integrate your suppressed truths, you free others to acknowledge their hidden selves. Your courageous self-honesty ripples outward, transforming families, communities, and ultimately society itself. You become living proof that authenticity isn't weakness, it's profound strength. You embody the truth that embracing darkness isn't destructive, it's deeply healing. You demonstrate clearly that vulnerability isn't fragility, it's humanity. Your integration becomes a powerful, contagious force, spreading courage, honesty, and healing everywhere you go. But this journey requires you to face your deepest fears. The fear of rejection, of judgment, of abandonment. The fear of being fully seen, fully known, fully human. Shadow integration forces you to confront your deepest wounds, your most hidden pain. It requires you to feel everything you once suppressed: grief, anger, vulnerability, desire. It demands radical honesty, not just with others, but first and foremost with yourself. Yet within this honesty, within this courageous confrontation of your darkness, lies profound liberation. You discover the freedom that comes from no longer hiding who you truly are. You experience the deep peace that emerges when you stop fighting yourself, stop fragmenting yourself, stop denying your humanity. You reclaim authenticity, not as a concept, but as a lived reality. You stop performing a persona and start embodying your truth. You no longer chase perfection because you've found wholeness. You no longer seek external approval because you've reclaimed internal alignment. You become a person no longer divided, no longer hiding, fully integrated, fully authentic, fully human. This is the deep wisdom Carl Jung revealed. Your shadow isn't something to fear. It's your greatest healer. It isn't your enemy. It's your guide. It isn't here to sabotage you. It's here to liberate you fully, profoundly, permanently. And as you integrate your shadow, you discover exactly who you are. Not flawless, but profoundly authentic. Not perfect, but deeply human. Not divided, but whole. This is your true self. This is your genuine identity. And your shadow has been waiting your entire life to finally reveal it to you. Once you start embracing your shadow, when you truly begin this deep inner work, your world shifts in subtle yet profound ways. It doesn't happen instantly or dramatically. Rather, it unfolds gently, quietly, organically. You begin to notice changes first internally, then gradually, externally. Your relationships deepen, your creativity awakens, your boundaries solidify. Life itself starts to feel not only manageable, but profoundly meaningful. You begin living not from external validation, but from internal alignment. This doesn't mean life becomes effortless or pain-free. On the contrary, challenges still arise. But now, you navigate them consciously, courageously, authentically. You're no longer driven by unconscious fears, compulsions, or suppressed wounds. Instead, you respond from a place of clarity, wholeness, and genuine self-awareness. One of the most profound transformations is in your relationships. For years, you may have interacted with others through masks or personas designed to gain acceptance, approval, or safety. Perhaps you played the caretaker, the perfectionist, the achiever, or the peacekeeper. But these roles never brought genuine intimacy, only shallow connections based on performance and suppression. When you integrate your shadow, these roles crumble, revealing your authentic self beneath. Relationships become deeper because you're no longer hiding, performing, or self-abandoning. You set boundaries clearly, not from resentment or anger, but from deep self-respect and clarity. You communicate honestly and vulnerably, not because it's comfortable, but because it's essential for genuine intimacy. Relationships built on truth, vulnerability, and authentic self-expression become nourishing, supportive, and genuinely fulfilling. Your creativity transforms profoundly. As you integrate your shadow, you reclaim all the creative energy previously used to suppress your truth. Suddenly, your ideas flow freely, effortlessly, powerfully. You're no longer censoring yourself, fearing judgment, or conforming to external expectations. Instead, you create boldly, courageously, unapologetically, not from insecurity, but from genuine self-expression. Your art, innovations, or work become vibrant reflections of your authentic soul. Your physical and emotional health improves dramatically. Suppressing your shadow creates chronic tension, anxiety, depression, or emotional numbness. But as you reclaim these suppressed parts, you release deep tension, reduce anxiety, and regain emotional clarity. Your nervous system relaxes, your sleep improves, your energy increases. You feel physically lighter, emotionally balanced, and mentally clear, not because life is suddenly easy, but because you're no longer at war with yourself internally. Even your spiritual connection deepens profoundly. Integrating your shadow isn't a psychological exercise alone, it's deeply spiritual. Jung knew this intimately, understanding clearly that spirituality isn't about transcending humanity, but fully embracing it. You realize that true spirituality isn't found by escaping darkness, but by integrating it fully. You experience interconnectedness, not as an abstract idea, but as a lived reality. You no longer seek external validation from spiritual practices. Instead, you cultivate genuine compassion, authentic presence, and profound internal alignment. The shadow integration journey is lifelong. You never complete this work because human growth is ongoing, dynamic, ever-evolving. Your shadow remains your lifelong companion, a powerful teacher guiding you toward deeper authenticity, deeper truth, deeper wholeness. Even when you integrate one aspect, another emerges, inviting deeper exploration. This isn't failure, it's profound growth. It's the sacred dance of becoming fully yourself. Your shadow speaks continuously through your dreams, intuitions, emotional reactions, and even through synchronicities, those uncanny coincidences connecting your inner world to external experiences. You become adept at interpreting these subtle messages, recognizing them not as random events, but as powerful guides toward deeper self-awareness and integration. Jung called this process individuation, the lifelong journey toward becoming who you truly are. Individuation isn't achieving perfection or avoiding pain. It's about embracing your humanity fully, courageously, compassionately. It's honoring your contradictions, your complexities, your vulnerabilities, not as flaws, but as sacred aspects of your human experience. Integrating your shadow deeply transforms your sense of purpose. You're no longer chasing external definitions of success, approval, or validation. Instead, you're guided by internal clarity, authenticity, and alignment. Your purpose emerges not from external pressure, but from internal truth. Your decisions become clearer, your actions more intentional, your life genuinely meaningful. Yet, shadow integration demands courage, not superficial bravery, but profound inner strength. It requires confronting painful truths, facing uncomfortable emotions, and reclaiming aspects of yourself you've hidden for decades. It asks you to release old beliefs, identities, and defenses that no longer serve you. It requires surrender, not passive resignation, but active, courageous willingness to fully experience everything you've suppressed. But within this courageous surrender lies profound liberation. You discover deep freedom, not freedom from pain, but freedom to experience pain consciously, clearly, and compassionately. You reclaim emotional sovereignty, not control over emotions, but mastery in fully feeling, expressing, and honoring them. You experience authenticity, not as a concept, but as embodied reality. Jung understood clearly that this integration was humanity's greatest potential, not transcending darkness, but fully embracing it, not eliminating struggles, but consciously navigating them, not escaping pain, but transforming it into profound wisdom, resilience, and compassion. This is your true identity, not flawless perfection, but deeply authentic wholeness. This integration doesn't only transform you, it profoundly impacts everyone around you. Your authenticity inspires others to reclaim theirs. Your courage to face your darkness encourages others to explore their own hidden selves. Your clarity, boundaries, and genuine self-expression ripple outward, transforming families, communities, and society itself. By reclaiming your shadow, you break cycles of generational trauma, unconsciousness, and suffering. You embody a new way of being, authentic, conscious, compassionate, that inspires collective transformation. Your integration isn't just personal healing, it's a powerful act of social change. You become living proof that humanity isn't flawed, but deeply sacred. You embody the profound truth Jung revealed. Your shadow isn't darkness to fear, it's profound potential waiting to be reclaimed. It isn't your enemy, it's your greatest healer. It isn't here to sabotage you, it's here to liberate you fully. Your life becomes a living testament to the transformative power of authenticity, courage, and compassion. You're no longer fragmented, performing, or hiding. You're integrated, aligned, and genuinely alive. You've reclaimed all you are, not just light but darkness, not just strength but vulnerability, not just success but profound humanity. And within this reclamation, you finally discover who you truly are, not perfect but profoundly authentic, not flawless but deeply human. Your shadow reveals this profound truth clearly, gently, powerfully. This is your genuine self. This is your authentic identity. This is who you really are. The journey into your shadow self isn't about becoming someone new. It's about returning to who you've always been, beneath the layers of conditioning, fear, and suppression. It's about peeling back each false identity, each protective mask, each story you've worn to survive, until only your authentic self remains, powerful, raw, profoundly alive. But integration isn't a one-time event. It's a lifelong process of becoming, evolving, and deepening your self-awareness. It's an ever-unfolding conversation between your conscious self and your unconscious wisdom. Your shadow will continually reveal deeper truths, hidden strengths, and untapped potentials, guiding you toward fuller authenticity and deeper wholeness. Over time, you recognize something profoundly liberating. Your shadow isn't your enemy. It's your deepest ally, your most trustworthy guide. It holds the exact wisdom, strength, and clarity you need, precisely when you need it. Every emotional reaction, every powerful dream, every intuitive insight becomes an invitation, a call toward deeper authenticity, integration, and truth. Your relationship with discomfort transforms completely. You no longer fear painful emotions or challenging experiences. You lean into them courageously, knowing they carry profound wisdom. Pain stops being punishment and becomes guidance. Challenges cease feeling like obstacles and start becoming powerful initiations into deeper growth. Carl Jung once wrote, "I must also have a dark side if I am to be whole." He understood clearly that humanity isn't flawed, it's profoundly complex. He knew that darkness wasn't something to transcend, but something to integrate deeply. He recognized that perfection wasn't genuine strength, authenticity was. As you embrace your shadow, you discover this truth clearly. Your vulnerabilities aren't weaknesses, they're powerful sources of connection, intimacy, and compassion. Your anger isn't destructive, it's profound clarity and fierce self-respect. Your sadness isn't weakness, it's deep empathy, emotional intelligence, and authentic connection. Your desires aren't selfish, they're your truest compass toward purpose, passion, and meaningful living. Every aspect of your shadow, consciously reclaimed, becomes an essential part of your genuine identity. You no longer fragment yourself into acceptable and unacceptable. You embrace every part of yourself fully, without reservation or shame. You become deeply integrated, profoundly authentic, genuinely whole. This wholeness transforms your life dramatically, not because life is suddenly effortless, but because you now navigate it consciously, authentically, courageously. You no longer live reactively, driven by unconscious compulsions or suppressed wounds. You live deliberately, intentionally, aligned clearly with your deepest truths. Your relationships become profoundly meaningful. Because you no longer hide, perform, or abandon yourself, you experience genuine intimacy, clear boundaries, and profound connection. You're clear about your needs and desires, communicating them openly and compassionately. You honor yourself deeply, not selfishly but authentically, and this empowers others to honor themselves deeply too. Your creativity blossoms explosively. No longer censored or suppressed, your ideas flow freely, courageously, powerfully. You create boldly, authentically, unapologetically, not for external validation, but from genuine passion, purpose, and self-expression. Your work becomes deeply meaningful, fulfilling, and aligned clearly with your truest self. Your physical and emotional health improve dramatically. Releasing suppressed emotions and hidden truths dissolves chronic tension, anxiety, or emotional numbness. You feel physically energized, emotionally balanced, mentally clear, not because life is easy, but because you're no longer internally divided or at war with yourself. Even your spiritual connection deepens profoundly. Integrating your shadow isn't psychological alone, it's profoundly spiritual. You realize spirituality isn't escaping humanity, it's fully embracing it. You experience interconnectedness deeply, authentically, genuinely. Your spirituality becomes real, not an idea or belief, but a lived reality of profound connection, alignment, and wholeness. Yet shadow integration demands courage, not superficial bravery, but profound inner strength. It requires facing uncomfortable truths, painful emotions, and buried desires. It demands radical honesty, not only with others, but first and foremost with yourself. It invites you to shed old beliefs, identities, and patterns that no longer serve you. But within this courageous confrontation lies profound liberation. You discover the deep freedom of authenticity, the profound peace of internal alignment, the genuine power of embracing your full humanity. You become fully alive, not fragmented, performing, or hiding, but integrated, aligned, and profoundly authentic. This integration isn't just personal healing, it profoundly impacts the collective. Your authenticity inspires others to reclaim their own. Your courage encourages others to embrace their shadows. Your clarity, boundaries, and genuine self-expression ripple outward, transforming families, communities, and ultimately society itself. Your integration becomes a powerful act of social change, breaking generational cycles of trauma, oppression, and unconsciousness. You embody a new way of being, authentic, conscious, compassionate, that inspires profound collective transformation. You become living proof that humanity isn't flawed, but deeply sacred. You embody the profound truth Jung revealed. Your shadow isn't darkness to fear, it's profound potential waiting to be reclaimed. It isn't your enemy, it's your greatest healer. It isn't here to sabotage you, it's here to liberate you fully. The more you integrate your shadow, the more clearly you see who you truly are. You're not flawed, you're complex. You're not broken, you're deeply human. You're not perfect, you're profoundly authentic. Your shadow reveals this clearly, powerfully, undeniably. Carl Jung dedicated his life to teaching humanity this truth, not perfection but authenticity, not transcendence but integration, not flawless ideals but profound humanity. He knew clearly that true healing emerges not by eliminating darkness, but by fully embracing it. He recognized deeply that humanity's greatest potential was found precisely where we feared most to look, within our own shadow. This is who you really are, not divided but whole, not performing but authentic, not flawless but deeply human. Your shadow self has been waiting patiently your entire life to finally reveal this profound truth to you. And now it's your turn. Your turn to reclaim your full authenticity, your true strength, your genuine power. Your turn to stop hiding, stop performing, stop fragmenting yourself into acceptable and unacceptable. Your turn to integrate fully, embrace courageously, and live authentically. Because who you truly are isn't defined by external validation, approval, or performance. Your true identity emerges clearly, powerfully, profoundly from within. Your shadow reveals this clearly, not through intellectual understanding alone, but through profound lived experience, courageous integration, genuine self-awareness. This is who you really are, deeply human, profoundly authentic, genuinely alive. And your shadow has been patiently waiting your entire life for you to finally see clearly, reclaim courageously, and live fully this profound truth. Subscribe to the Awakened Compass and join our membership to unlock the full journey within.